Hey guys, how are you? David Franco here from GearPop.com. I have something very interesting to talk about. This is kind of something I've been scripting in my head for the past few days because I'm trying to explain it the best way possible for one main reason. For whatever reason, a lot of people out there seem to think I'm this complete Apple fanboy and that I automatically like anything that has an Apple logo on it. Well guys, I'm glad to say this, but that's not really true, and I'm not really sure why you would think that. First of all, let me say this. I love Apple products because 1, they're high quality. 2, they just look awesome. I do enjoy a well-designed product. I mean, I'm sorry, I can't use a product if it looks ugly. It's just me. I don't like ugly things. That's just how I am. And number 3, everything just works well in the universe, or whatever you want to call it, between iOS devices, OS X devices, and even the Apple TV. Everything just works very well, and I love that. That to me is a big time experience, and well, it's a big deal. I just feel like I have to say that because for whatever reason, no matter how much I try to convince people, I simply like a good experience. That doesn't automatically mean I'm a fanboy. Anyway, okay, the point of this video is not to rant. I just wanted to get that out of the way because I do want to talk about something very specific, and that is the iPad mini and why I cannot recommend it. Whoa! Put the brakes on. I know, that's a big surprise, right? Me being the Apple fanboy, I really can't recommend an Apple product? Hell is truly frozen over. Not really. Okay, you know what? Let me start out by saying what I love about the iPad mini. The performance is stellar. I've seen much more out of the iPad mini than I have from the Nexus 7 and the Kindle Fire. Hey, it's the truth. Apple does a great job at putting a lot of performance in a small package, and they've always been very good at that, and I give them props for that. But that doesn't totally go for the display, which I'll talk about in a second. Secondly, I really enjoy the form factor because I cannot stress enough how much I love that 7.9-inch screen. Again, 7.9 inches, not 7-inch, so it's really like an 8-inch tablet. So it's not unfair to compare it to the Nexus 7. It's just a little bigger and a little pricier than the Nexus 7 and a little smaller than the regular size iPad. I'm just going to put that out there because that might create some confusion between consumers, but for tech geeks like you and myself, it's really not a huge deal. Okay, so we've talked about performance. It's awesome. The form factor is awesome. I really like holding it in one hand. And finally, it's the iOS experience. The iOS experience alone should sell a lot of people. All of your apps that you have on your iPad 2 or your iPhone or iPod Touch will work just fine on the iPad mini. Even if they do scale up and look kind of bad, the apps will still work. And another great thing to keep in mind is, and this isn't me being biased, this is a fact, most Android tablets out there, actually I should say most Android tablet apps out there are not tablet optimized. I mean, if you look at Instagram, it's literally just a scaled up phone version on your tablet. And the same goes for many other Android apps out there. Believe me, I'm not making this up. I've had the Kindle Fire. I know it's kind of not Android, but it is. But I have had the Nexus 7, which is pure Android, and I really enjoyed it for the month that I had it. But it wasn't offering anything new that iOS doesn't give me already in terms of high quality experiences, otherwise known as apps. Now yes, I know the Nexus 7 offers widgets, which were awesome for the first week or so, but after that, honestly, they weren't a huge deal and I don't need them. I would probably rather want a tiled interface such as Windows Phone 8, if that's what they're calling it, because it's more of a integrated experience where the widgets, they look good on the home screen of Android, but, okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to talk about Android too much. The point of this video is why I cannot recommend the iPad mini. So, this is the thing. Performance is awesome, form factor is awesome, and the iOS experience is awesome. It's very mature. But it's the screen, guys. The screen absolutely kills it for me. I'm sorry, but this is a huge step backwards for Apple. We're already used to the Retina display on the iPad and the iPhone 4 and beyond, right? I know I am. I mean, Apple spoils us with the Retina display. It's incredible. So the first time I looked at the iPad mini, it looked okay, but once I got into the iOS experience after sliding to unlock and setting up my user account, you know, Apple ID and all that good stuff, I began to see the blurry text. I began to see just not that great of a display. I mean, not only is it non-Retina, but maybe I just have good eyes because a lot of people haven't noticed this, but the colors are very muted. They're not saturated at all. Put it next to an iPad and you'll see a huge color difference. Now, let me just say this. I did notice the muted colors without even putting it next to my iPhone or iPad 3rd generation in the first place. Why? Well, because that's simply because I'm so used to using my iPhone 4S and my iPad 3rd generation that my eyes are just, well, I would notice a difference right away. Like, I mean, if I were to change the shade of the blue in my office right now, I would notice right away because I'm used to seeing it every day. So do you see what I'm saying? Is I had a lot of people try to call me out by saying, well, if you put the iPhone 4S next to the iPad mini, well, of course you're going to notice a difference. But that's not the thing. I noticed a difference right away. The colors, they're very poor, and just the text overall, it's very blurry. Now, I will say, obviously, Apple did this on purpose. One, to cut back on costs, and two, because, well, the iPad mini 2nd generation will most likely have a Retina display. And when it does, you can bet your butt I will be getting that thing and most likely selling my iPad 3rd generation because I really want to force myself to use a smaller tablet to see how I could get by for a few months. And, well, if I don't like it, I just sell it and get the iPad 4th generation or 5th generation, whatever it's going to be. And yes, that was my phone. So do you see what I'm saying? Basically, I cannot recommend the iPad mini for one main reason. That's the display. Now that's me personally. This obviously doesn't apply to everybody, but I just can't support a decision like that where Apple spoils us with the Retina display and brags about it and throws it in our faces in a good way, but then they take a huge step backwards and say, oh wait, here you go, we have a 1024 by 768 screen, while the pixel density is a little higher than that of the iPad 2 of a 9.7 inch screen. It still doesn't look very good at all. And I'm sorry, a lot of people are saying out there that it's not a huge deal. Well, to me, guys, it is a huge deal. It's a complete deal breaker. It seriously killed the experience for me. I couldn't use Tweetbot without seeing the little pixelated circles in the background. You know, that awesome pattern that they use, the holes. It looks amazing on the iPhone 4, and the 4S, and the 5, and the iPad 3rd generation, and the iPad 4th generation. But when you open it on the iPad mini, I'm sorry, it looks horrible. So, with all this said, and with the holidays right around the corner, I can't wait, I had to not recommend the iPad mini, and instead, go for the Nexus 7, which only sells for $199. You don't get the iOS experience, but you do get a $200 tablet with okay Android apps and an awesome customizable experience. But if you really, really, really want the iOS experience, then I recommend spending a little bit of extra money and going for the iPad 4th generation with Retina display that starts at $499. I mean, guys, if you really think about it, going from $329 to $499 isn't really that big of a jump in price. I mean, if you're already spending $330 on a tablet, you can most likely spend a little bit extra and get a better experience and overall, well, more awesome display. I cannot stress enough how much of a big difference it is. But if display is not important to you, then I guess go with the iPad mini. But if you're going to do that, just go for the Nexus 7, save yourself some money, and get yourself a nice case for the Nexus 7 or even the Nexus 4. That's a phone, I know that. Or the Nexus 10. I'm not sure the Nexus 10's price, but hey, at least we have options. However, guys, what do you think? Do you think the iPad mini is worth it, or are you on my side where you think the Retina display, well, the lack of a Retina display, is a deal breaker? I'm sorry, it is. I'm very disappointed in Apple. It's a huge step backwards, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm not going to rant. This time next year, I'm sure I'll be nerdgasming all over the Retina display and all that good stuff. So let's just hope that happens. But yeah, guys, please leave your comments below. I'm really interested in getting a conversation going. Whether I'm being dramatic or not, I don't think I am, but I'm always interested in a good debate. And now I will finally let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for Thanksgiving 2012 in 2 days from now, because you're watching this on Tuesday. Actually, Thanksgiving 2012 won't be out until at least next Monday at the earliest. But either way, guys, if you don't see Wednesday's video, I hope you have an awesome holiday. Be sure to spend time with your family and friends. It's very important. Never, ever take life for granted. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.